Years, Mauser's Tire Center has kept our community rolling safely. Located on Route 40 West at Seawrights Crossroads, they're your trusted source for new, used, and recap tires, plus expert repairs. Need a new set or a quick fix? Then call Mauser's at 724-249-2410, and they'll get you ready for the road. Mauser's Tire Center. 5 decades of keeping you safe.
The views and opinions presented by the host, guests, or callers on this program do not necessarily represent the positions of WMBS Radio.
Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop, it'll soon be here. It'll be better than before. Yesterday's gone. Yesterday's gone.
Well, thank you, TJ. Democratic Hour on WMBS 590 AM, 101.1 FM. We'll be taking calls. Our telephone number is 724-438-4593. Rich, welcome to the show.
Happy to be back.
I'm glad to be here. T, we start the show with a little music, and I'm ready for him.
You're always ready.
Oh, I'm ready for
Here
my
we go.
man. Oh, I'm ready.
Does he sing this?
No, he doesn't sing this.
This is in honor of the Steeler game last night.
Yeah, the Pirate season's over, and for folks, anybody that is the Steelers song for years by Styx. It's Renegade. TJ, I heard some rumors, and I don't know if
what
there's
are
any
they?
truth. Was you at the football game last night with a certain high celebrity?
Wait, do you mean this guy?
Yes, that guy.
I'm going to tell you what.
I was there. Front row. We did a tour before the game.
Sunshine in my pocket.
I was on the field and everything.
I'm going to tell you what. Ever since I introduced you to Justin, I've been out of the photo.
You have been.
Went to the football game. I'm lost for
All
words.
those perks. All those perks.
All those perks went to you and forgot about us. Yes, it is the Democratic Hour on WMBS. Maybe we should have called it the Socialist Hour, right? We've been called
Democratic
communists,
Socialist.
right?
Yeah.
I've been called communist.
Yeah.
Hey, TJ, just to we'll do a little fact check. We were back in the studio. I want to say there was a caller that calls this show. I think she may have mentioned that the Democratic Hour doesn't take phone calls.
That's the first thing you usually say at the top of the show. Our phone number.
Well, if she's listening, we're taking phone calls. So
Yeah.
our telephone number is 724-438-4593. T, thanks for putting that on there.
You're welcome.
Rich, going over some notes. First of all, before we go into, I just want to remind everybody, Fayette County Democratic Women will be down on 5 Corners, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Stop by, wave, blow the horn.
Yeah.
Stop out and talk to them. Talk to Tracy. Tracy Wilson is the new chair of the Fayette County
Party.
Democratic Party. Well, Matt Lancaster is the vice chair. They will be opening their headquarters. It'll be September 12th. I do believe that's on a Saturday at 1 p.m. And then we should have a guest coming in, Malcolm Kenyatta from the Philadelphia area. And that is located on Connersville Street, right close to the East End
East
Fire
End
Department.
Yeah.
So we'll have a lot of campaign literature there. And again, speaking of midterms, we're 81 days out to the election. Rich, I said it so many times, elections have consequences. If you don't vote, don't complain. We have our governor, Josh Shapiro, Austin Davis, our lieutenant governor, and of course we have Ellen Bradstock.
Bradstock.
We do have a congressman here, but nobody's seen him here in the last 10 years.
Yeah. I don't know. MIA.
MIA, missing in action again. So with the headquarters and people want to get involved and knocking on doors, making phone calls, and the only way it's going to change is you got to get up and vote, get your neighbor to vote.
Although I did get a mailer, I think it was last week from the.
The one and only missing in action congressman.
Yeah.
I happen to have it in front of me. His smiling face and it,
Yeah, it's obviously superimposed on. Makes it look like he's in a crowd somewhere.
Well,
He's up.
only crowd, but it shows you it's a congressional district, but, he's talking about money for Westmoreland County, this county, that county, but I don't see any money for Fayette County.
Nothing for Green or Fayette County. Yes.
Yeah, so I guess he doesn't consider us very important, his congressional district. But we have a candidate. He's been out and about, Alan Bradstock. So again, with the headquarters opening up on September 12th, and as I indicated, we have 81 days. It's hard to believe, but folks, that's how important this election is, the midterms. Rich, I guess the war is on, it's off. You know, where we at in the whole situation? You know, and again, he comes back. Now it's back to the ballroom. It was 400. Do you have another amount of money they're claiming now?
$900 million for all the renovations around the White House.
My understanding, you know, the judge last week said had to stop any more construction.
Right.
My understanding, he already wants to make a case in front of the Supreme Court.
Right, and he filed an emergency motion, I guess it was earlier today.
So again, you got the ballroom.
He wants to put a helipad out on the line. You know,
The happiest day of my life is going to be when he's going to take that last helicopter ride in 2 years from now or 3 years from now, and he'd be gone.
yeah.
I mean, really and truly. Speaking, Rich, I know the press secretary had some notes. She's leaving.
Caroline Levitt, yes.
She's leaving, and believe me, she is. Anybody listen to this press conference? I couldn't tell you. I don't want to call her a liar, but she has probably had his back on every lie that he's ever told since he's been in the White House.
I mean, when she first took over as press secretary, one of the first questions that came was like, will you always tell us the truth and never have a lie? Never forward a lie.
We know that didn't happen.
Well, that was a lie,
That
which
was-
she
she
said
said
right
right
there. Yeah, but it was interesting because she was over in Turkey at the NATO summit. And this is when President Trump, they had to scramble and get him on another
And
airplane.
I have no problem protecting the president of the United
Absolutely
States.
not.
I want to make sure Rich and I are saying this to the listening audience. I have no problem. What the problem I have is after the fact, after you get out of there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Secret Service obviously does a phenomenal job for everybody, or at least the president and his families. But, you know, they snuck him on to another airplane, and Caroline Levitt remained on
On Air Force One, with a
with-
press corps.
with
Press,
press corps.
corps always goes on presidential
Yeah.
trips.
And usually, no matter where the president goes, even if he goes somewhere that they don't want the world or the
Right.
U.S. to know, they always have a reporter who is on board with Trump. That didn't happen, you know, and the press corps is upset about that.
And they
I-
should be.
I could, yeah. I mean,
How would you like to be on Air Force One? They said put the window shade down.
yeah.
Right.
yeah. But, you know, there have been numerous incidents in the past where it's tricky for the president, either Trump or his predecessors. And, you know, the White House staff would give the press the advance to say, like, okay, this is embargoed. You can't say anything until we
Right.
land. You know, and the press has always, always, always abided by that.
And when they flew him out, then when he landed,
Yeah.
they put him back on the airplane
Yeah.
so that everybody knew that he was coming off Air Force One, even though he wasn't on Air Force One.
Yeah, but
Pete,
to
we
get
got a
back-
caller?
To get back to Caroline Levitt,
Yes.
I mean, she wasn't on the other plane that Trump took out. And, you know, there are news reports out there. I don't know how reliable they are, but there's some reports out there that she got ticked off that she didn't go on that extra flight for safety with President Trump. And, you know, she just came back in July from maternity leave.
You know, she had a baby.
Yeah, yeah, and she has a toddler already. I can
Right.
understand being,
Yeah.
you know, respectful of your family, caring and loving of your family, and caring for yourself. But there are stories out there to say that she got ticked off, that she didn't go, and she was left in harm's way, and that's why she announced her sudden
All the
retirement.
reports, Rubio was on a plane with,
And
other
Bassett.
individuals. Yeah, and of course, the press corps.
You know, entire press corps.
And
Yeah.
of course, after the fact, somebody leaked it out, how they found out about it.
Yeah.
He claims now he was in more danger than they were.
No, well,
Right.
he's always going to say that. Yeah, it was strange.
And the other big thing that's, me, and everybody knows my little bit of background. I was in the service in Vietnam, like a lot of other individuals. And I don't have to tell anybody this. We lost over 58,000 individuals in Vietnam and 50 here from Fayette County. But the big thing this week is, of course, is the U.S. carrier Abraham Lincoln,
Oh, my God.
with all the controversy going on. So everybody has their spin on it, you know, and you heard so many stories about it. Now, my understanding, you're taking not a new aircraft carrier that had been stationed in
Oh,
Japan,
for Japan.
and moving it to the Middle East.
Yeah.
But it's the longest employment
Yeah,
in the
it's
history of the Navy.
250 days since they left San Diego, and they only have one port to call.
Now, let
So
me,
they've been out in the sea for over 200 days continuously. You know, and Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of
Mr.
Defense,
Tough Guy.
he came out and said, like, that story about the Lincoln is wrong.
And I
Now,
don't
come
believe
on.
it. I don't believe a thing he says anyway.
No.
But again, our telephone number is 724-438-4593. And I can imagine today with, you know, you have your phone, I have my iPad, making communication with
Right.
loved ones back here, what they're eating, not sleeping, you know, all the so-called the bathroom's not working, the shower has mold, all the other mechanical problems with jets flying in and off the aircraft carrier and ammunition and you name it.
Yeah.
But I know one thing. We used to get resupplied. It depends on how, you know, if we were in heavy combat. I think it was probably every 5 days, if I could remember. Now, it could have been sooner if we needed more supplies. But the other thing, you couldn't wait to get a care package, as
Right.
we call them, or a letter from mom and dad, or any loved one who would write you. That
Yeah.
was, that's what you look forward to.
Yeah. And the internet service apparently
Yeah.
on the Lincoln is quite spotty. So
You
they're
know-
not there are over 5,000
Oh,
service
yeah.
people.
Think about
on
that,
boat.
folks. 5,000. I would
5,000.
imagine you got to feed them 3 times a day.
Yeah.
You got to do laundry, you name it, they do it.
Showers.
Showers. And you would think you would have problems today when you could pick up the phone. And that's the world we live in today. 50 some years ago in Vietnam, you couldn't do that. And now here you are. And again, we may never know the truth, what's going on with that aircraft carrier.
Well, it's interesting. It was the what the military. What's the newspaper? Army, Navy,
Stars and Stripes.
Stars and Stripes.
Yeah.
They're the ones who broke that story.
They're probably in trouble now anyway. I think they want, I want to say, and somebody probably could look this up. I think when President Trump took office again the second time, I think they wanted to eliminate the paper.
Well, they've done their best to try to get the press corps out of the Pentagon.
Well, they've done that.
Yeah.
And again, that's some of the topics here. We got the midterms, like I said, 81 days. I'm need to call. If anybody has any questions about the election, please call 724-430-1289. Mary Beth and her staff will be more than glad. And I know that we'll have Alan Bradstock. He has his Facebook page out there. You can look it up, and he's been up, you know, in all the counties.
Yeah, and I
He's
just
good.
saw something yesterday about all these meetings that are going out throughout his district for people to come in and get educated on door knocking and you
Right.
know, telephone calls and things like that.
And we can't even give ours to have a town hall meeting. He's looking at it. He feels he's in a safe district. He hasn't brought anything back in 10 years to this district. And I'll say it again, when the United Mine Workers possibility losing a mine in Greene County, when they were going to talk about possibility of shutting down the mine over unfortunate accident in Baltimore Harbor when the big ship hit the bridge,
bridge.
And it came down and collapsed. T, we got a caller on the line. Let's see who we got.
We do.
We do take calls, folks.
Good afternoon. You're on the air. Who are we speaking to?
You're speaking from Mark from Republic.
What's up, Mark?
Well, I was just here noticing this. You're talking here and whatnot, and this press secretary. She said she was upset being put in harm's way. She was left on the plane, and
Yeah. Caroline Levitt.
okay. Well, it's a good thing she never enlisted in the military then,
Why is that?
because you're in harm's way every day. You sign that sign on the bottom line.
Exactly.
I mean, I never heard.
But we don't know who was told. I mean, this was like Rich. You was reporter. For somebody to leak
Yeah.
this information out, and again,
Mm.
to find out who was on that plane, right?
Yeah.
Who was left on that plane, and he got out of it, which I have no problem with. He got out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting because Caroline Levitt was left on Air Force One, but
Yeah.
Natalie Harp, who is,
The new girl in town.
you know, a special
Yeah.
assistant or whatever the heck she is, she got on the other plane out of harm's way.
Mm.
She left with
Well,
Trump.
evidently she doesn't know Donald Trump very well.
Well.
She thought she did.
Well, she's press secretary. It says she
Well,
meets with
maybe
him every
she's
day.
going to come out with a book now and tell all the stuff that she knows.
Yeah, I
Hey,
don't
but
know.
Mark, what do you
Well,
think about, you've been in service, I've been in service with this aircraft carrier. With,
Well, well, what I know about, I've never been in the service, George.
well,
you
I
know,
thought you were,
my,
but fine.
no, yeah, my older brother was. He was in the Marines. He's buried in Arlington, and of course, Vietnam, was wounded like you, and Dad, World War II vet. But I know that in Vietnam, because the aircraft had a couple of aircraft carriers in the Gulf of Tonkin. They were bombing North Vietnam. There was actually fights breaking out on those carriers because they'd been employed too long.
Well, look
Yeah.
on the Lincoln. They had the story this week about one of the servicemen
Yeah, jumped overboard.
jumping
Yeah.
overboard. Yeah,
Yeah.
apparent suicide or attempted suicide.
Yeah, I mean, every human being has so much of a limit, George.
Oh,
I
I
absolutely.
mean, we don't. You ain't gonna find out till it breaks. But yeah, I guess there was. In fact, I was watching these stories about Vietnam and what on television. They were talking about the aircraft carriers that stationed up. They had been there so long. There was actually fights breaking out upon the crew because they've been out there just too long.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, this
But,
is the longest
yeah.
deployment by aircraft carrier
Yeah.
in the Navy's history. So,
And the one they're
Yeah.
taking off of Japan, this is going to be the first time in years,
I think
decades.
since the
Yeah.
70s, I think.
Yeah, decades that
Yeah.
we didn't have an aircraft carrier in the supporting destroyers and frigates with
Yeah.
it up in that area.
Yeah.
I mean, China has to be going crazy. So what are these people doing?
Well, the other thing too, the war's over. It's not. We control the Gulf or the Gulf of Hormuz, right?
Strait of
yeah,
Hormuz.
They do, right?
The Strait, yeah.
Straight. I'm sorry, I said the Gulf. But again, I've looked. I filled my gas tank up. It's not to that January level when the war started,
Yeah.
right? And the war
Nope.
was over. It's over, right? Didn't we?
Yeah,
They
yeah.
have no navy. They have no military, right? But
Yeah.
we're still.
Mhm.
So what did we
Well,
win?
yeah.
I don't-
I'm not sure because even a little country, because a lot of havoc was with these drones, mines. You can got a very small area to attack.
Yeah.
You can cause a. Fact is, Ukraine's kind of winning the war over there in Russia. So I understand they're killing 8 Russians for every one that Ukrainian gets killed. They're so skillful with these drones now.
Yeah, their drone, the drones they manufacture are far better than the ones that we have out here or manufactured here in the U.S.
Like I say,
Yeah.
But again, Mark, you have anything else before you grab another caller?
Yeah. You were talking about the coal mine, and I worked there at Cumberland. I worked there
Yeah.
for a year. Yeah, I worked there. Actually, worked there 1 year to retire, and I left. But George, there's a lot of groups in America. They don't want the United States to ship coal out or natural gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are groups. You'll notice that there are groups that it has to be wind or solar, one or the other, geothermal. They don't want any any kind of what do you call it, carbon.
Yeah.
But there are those groups out there.
Well, they're always going to be out there, and again, my position, being in the construction union, we're for if it's going to be built, we have the best to offer with our skilled tradesmen. Mark, we appreciate the call, and have a
Right.
good weekend.
Right. Bye bye.
That's one of our steady callers. Mark brought us some things, and Rich, getting back to the aircraft carrier. Maybe we'll get somebody that's was on an aircraft carrier one of these days, call the show.
You know what?
Rich is out there.
I'm not going to be surprised if somebody from the U.S. Senate or the House of Representatives or a combination of them say, we want to get on deck.
Yeah. And I think they shouldn't have a problem with that
They-
unless the one and only our Secretary of War, right, Mr.
Yeah.
Tough Guy.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine somebody
he-
in Congress is not.
And I think he said it was all made up anyway.
Yeah.
You
it's-
know,
yeah.
everything he says, right, it's made up.
Yeah. So I don't, one thing that popped up in the news, well, Tuesday with all the primary elections, it's interesting to me at least, how many states are putting restrictions on data centers?
Quite a few.
Yeah.
Quite a few, and I know we have one here. I spoke on it many times. I actually went to the site. It's the old Homer City power plant, and we have. I know our local has over 200. I think there's over 200,000 local tradesmen working on it. I think it's supposed to peak out around $5,000. And of course, there was a informational meeting here a few months ago out of Penn State on a possibility of a data center coming here. And we're going to see where that goes here. And again, our telephone number is 724-438-4593. You know, Rich, you know, again, 81 days out, midterms. We're hoping, and I'm hoping that, you know, Democrats take over the House. It's
It's going to be a tough
to
go
go
on the
to
Senate. Yeah.
But again, you know, they control they call it the trifecta. You have the president, the House, and what have we accomplished in 2 years, right?
Mhm.
He ran on no wars. He could finish in one phone call. We still have a war with Ukraine and Russia.
Lowering prices.
Yeah, prices haven't been lowered, right?
Yep.
Inflation, right?
Yep.
Continue to blame the previous administration, right?
I mean, how much longer can they
Right.
blame Biden?
Biden.
It's like, oh my goodness. You know, I understand that, you know, maybe first month or two of the new administration, they would, you know, go back and complain about problems that they inherited from the previous administration. But man, this is crazy.
I mean, like you said, you know, you get down with the east wing of the White House,
there is no East Wing.
right? It's gone.
Yeah.
Then you have the so-called 250th anniversary of this country, and he was going to redo, which I had no problem,
No.
but it was a no bid contract.
Right.
He blamed it on vandalism, which found out was the furthest from the truth. Now they admitted the contractor had an issue,
Yeah.
and you know, it started out $1 million. Would it go up to 15 or 17 million dollars, right?
I think it was last I heard 14 or 17.
$17 million dollars for this reflection pool.
Yeah.
You know, and then the court stopped him further construction on the east wing, and now he's going to take it to the Supreme Court, and we know what probably will happen to the Supreme Court.
I mean, there are cameras all around that reflecting pool. Now,
Yeah.
if there was vandalism, there would be a tape, and that would be on the evening news, cable news, everything.
Oh, especially with him, he'd have it out
Yeah.
24/7.
Yeah. Instead, he brings Janine Pirro in,
Yeah,
and apparently chewed her out. But I don't
he
know.
wasn't, and I know he wasn't happy with her decision. All right, T, we got another caller. See who we got.
We do.
See, we do take calls.
Good afternoon. You're on the air. Who are we speaking with?
Hi, this is Sylvia.
Hey, sister, what's up?
You know, I just happened to catch you as I was coming in the house about talking about that reflecting pool. There's one thing, I mean, we all make fun of this, and, you know, the botched job, the no-bid contract. But one of the people, other than the Olympic canoeist, who happened to put his hand in the pool, take a look at the liner, this guy was facing felony charges.
Yeah.
Felony charges. One of the women who also was being charged with a felony, all I think she did was put her hand in the pool. She was 60-some years old. And think about this for 1 minute. Like she said, do you know what it's like to have the most powerful person in the world accuse you of a crime? This woman would have gone to jail on a felony charge.
Yeah.
Only because
If
Janine Pirro
convicted,
came out,
yeah.
and of course, and Trump's still saying it's vandalism, it's vandalism.
Yeah.
And he finally admitted, I think, that it might have been part of a botched job. So you have the President of the United States going after ordinary citizens because he doesn't want to admit that he screwed up again.
Again.
Yeah.
And, George, you know, I hear all these people, you know, they don't want to vote for Democrats because we're socialists, and we
Communists.
give too much away, and we're communist and that. Do anybody remember the Department of government efficiency,
Doge.
right?
Yeah.
Now, how efficient is it when the President of the United States said that we needed, and I don't have that number in front of me, I think 10 more planes that he needed. Those planes are still grounded. They
Yes.
have never been off the ground.
Yeah, they were going to use them to deport
Or
all the
not.
people back.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. That's
Under
what they were
ice.
for. Right.
Yes.
They're still sitting somewhere on a tarmac.
Yeah.
Now you've got him, what? He's going to put his name back on the Kennedy Center again.
He's going to try. Yeah.
He's going to try under renovations.
Yeah.
He is so determined to spend your taxpayers' dollars to put his name everywhere in the United States. That arch, do we need that arch?
No.
No, we do not need that arch. What else did he spend our money on? Of course, the ballroom, which we
I
all
know how much money he spent on his golf trips.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's the other thing, Howard.
Yeah.
He's taking that affordable public golf course in Washington, D.C.
And he
He
wants
wants to improve it and make it private, of course.
Right.
So nobody's going to be able to afford that. Look what he did to the Rose Garden. Where are all these conservatives? Where's Guy Reschenthaler? Where is he saying, don't spend our money that way? It could be used for a better purpose.
He spent his money at Five Guys where you found him.
Right, that's exactly. I know he bought something in Fayette County. He bought a burger. Whether he bought fries, I'm not sure.
Right.
But then you have Stacey Garrity. She's going to be running against Josh Shapiro. She is a MAGA all the way through and through.
Oh, all the way. Yeah.
She is not even going to admit that we had a fair election.
Yeah.
You know, there's all these people out
Yeah.
here now that are running, and they're implanted
Well,
now into all our election system. Todd Blanche would not say.
well, last week they had the congressional hearings for 4 or 5 nominees for federal judgeships, and they wouldn't even admit
Right.
that
Right.
the election was
And
fair.
then you have this president who is going to sign an executive order that says to parents, do not give your kids
Oh, vaccines.
the vaccines as one
Yeah.
dose. Give them individually. How do you know that those vaccines do not exist individually?
Yeah.
So he's out there he's putting these horrible thoughts into parents' minds.
And you have nobody call him out on it other than the press or the Democrats because Republicans are dead silence.
We've got a measles
Right.
outbreak in
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania because of this man and
Yeah.
because of Bobby Kennedy.
And then, I mean, he was the 3 vaccinations done separately. Now, if you're a parent, you got to take time off from work or whatever to get the kid in there 3 times instead of just having it done in 1 dose.
But you can't even do that, Rich, because they don't exist.
Yeah, I know.
You'd have to go through all that research again, all that approvals and everything else. So he makes it sound like, oh, I care, and this is why I'm doing this. And I'm just calling BS.
Only one he cares for him and his family. That's
So,
the only one he cares
Oh, my
for.
God. Yeah, what happened to the Biden crime family
Right.
that were millions of dollars? How about the Trump crime family with their
billions
billions that they're
with a
grifting
B.
from everywhere?
Yeah,
Billions.
he's made $2 billion already in his second term. $2 billion.
And this is what I want the independents and the Republicans who call themselves conservatives. Would you please take a look at what this man is doing, how he is profiting off of this presidency boldly. He does not, it's not even a secret anymore, Rich. He just puts it out there.
I
And
mean,
then,
he's been willing to go against Congress. He's been willing to go against the Supreme Court. He's gone against law firms and newspapers and everything. I mean,
He just lost. Harvard took him on, and they won.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
one of the Ivy League schools that
Yeah.
the rest of them kind of folded up on some issues.
Oh.
Sister, anything else? We're going to grab another caller.
nope, I'm going to let you grab a caller. I just
Okay.
want people to start paying attention to, if you're a conservative, find out if this is the way you want your
Well,
government to
and
run.
even with our local legislators who have no
Right.
opposition, who are Republicans, I mean, when there's money not coming from the feds to the states, states back to the counties, they're dead silence too.
And George, just one more thing before I go. Alan Bradstock was in Greene County. He had a town meeting. I had a friend who attended, said it was really well attended, and she was very impressed. So we know that our candidates out there. Now, if you can find Guy other than in a Five Guy place, let me know.
We'll put it on WMBS. Thank you,
Okay.
sister.
All right, George.
T, we got another caller?
We do.
Let's see who we got.
Good afternoon. You're on the air. Who we speaking to?
Yes, I have never called your show before,
Is-
but I call the previous show sometime. I am the Pawpaw Lady.
Yeah, I know who you are. I met you here in the studio.
Okay, I want to say that I did make the comment on the previous show that how can you, as a Vietnam veteran, having seen communism at work, advocate for so much that the DSA is pushing?
Well, explain who the DSA is.
The Democrat Socialist Party, whatever they call themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want socialism in my country. I've been in other countries during my military time where they have that sort of leaning government, countries where the people don't have the freedoms, but they want to give freedoms to these Islamics to do all kinds of stuff, and they scream that they hate America, yet they want to live here because they want to turn America into where they came from, and every Christian country they've gone into and taken over, they've turned them into Islamic poo holes.
You know, I'm going to go against you on saying that the Democrats are being socialist. I think the Republican Party is trying to rebrand the Democratic Party as Democrat Socialist. Now, take a look at the current administration. How many corporations has President Trump invested federal money in? The last number I heard, 17. So isn't that socialism?
To me, socialism is when the government
Yeah, they got investments in
taking away all
17
of our
companies, including Intel and some of the biggest technology companies.
Okay, what about the vaccination companies pushing that poison on us through COVID
Oh,
and trying to cover up?
Paul, you don't believe COVID happened?
I agree it happened. I do not agree with the narrative that was put out there as to how it got to be where it is. Many people passed away, including my brother.
I'm sorry to hear that.
But I feel that it was not controlled properly, and some of the measures they gave us to protect us from it didn't help. And the vaccine, my other brother did take the vaccine after having COVID a couple times, and the vaccine nearly killed him.
Okay.
And I have the similar medical issue as my brother, who got the vaccine and had issues with it, and I did not take the vaccine. I survived COVID at least twice, and I'm fine, and I will not take the vaccine or any other mRNA type vaccine.
Well, that's your choice.
Okay, and who was the president who put in place Operation Warp Speed to get the COVID vaccines out there? Who was it?
Trump was trying to get it out there.
No, Trump got that organized, and he was getting a lot of credit for Operation Warp Speed and getting the vaccine out there. And he was getting a lot of credit, and he was willing to stand out and get the credit.
Remember, it was going to go away. It was not, it was all made up. And what country lost more during the COVID? We had more deaths than any other country in the world.
Although he did not force people to take it.
Well, he
Thank goodness
took one,
I was
right?
not
You remember
forced.
what he got?
They forced the military people to take it, and luckily my job I had at the time did not force us to take it, because I would have retired earlier than I did had they tried to make me take it.
Well, didn't you take some shots like I did? We didn't have any choice.
When I was a kid and also in the military, yes, they line you up and they give you shots. And we don't have an option to opt out of them. At least back then they just said you're getting all of these shots. And as kids we got all these shots. But now the kids, my kids, they were properly vaccinated. All through school they were given their vaccine. Whether it helped them or not, I don't know. But they survived them. And I'm not anti-vaccine. I just do not want to take a vaccine with mRNA or whatever they have all that in there.
Well, that's your choice.
I am also totally against any and all animal testing for anything. And I'm not sure if you are pro or con animal testing. I say for nothing, no animal testing for anything.
Well, Paul, before we take another caller, I just want to make sure that we do take phone calls. And I mean, we've been called socialist, communist, but every time I get my Social Security check, and my Medicare, and my military
Your
compensation, I'm glad that somebody's out there in the government looking after my interests. Paul, we appreciate the call.
All righty then, you guys have a good day and enjoy your next call. Goodbye.
Got another one, guys.
There is.
Yep. Good afternoon. You're on the air. Who we speaking to?
You're talking to Sean from the mountain.
Hey, Sean from the mountain, how are you, sir?
Well, we're suffering a little bit out here, George. I'm sure you know that Confluence got beaten pretty bad.
That's
by the
what I
rain,
heard.
starting to
I
rain
really
again.
didn't get to see it on the news, but I heard about it.
Well, I can tell you that we're really not going to get any federal aid up here in Confluence thanks to these miserable Doge
Probably
cuts.
not, yeah.
But I did want to thank the socialist program, the American Red Cross, for coming out and being out here and helping us so much. God knows they're not a capitalist program. They help everybody no matter what. So
Yeah.
as far as socialism goes, you know,
It works.
we love it when we need it, right? And then we're going to curse it when we don't, right? So
Yeah.
that's kind of where that's at. And it kind of irritates me to hear that and to hear this, you know, nonsense, you know, complaining about socialism. But we're not going to get any federal aid, I can tell you that, from this current administration. That's for darn sure. So people are getting ushered out of their homes and thankfully being rescued by other good,
Good
not
Samaritans, yeah.
capitalist programs like the fire companies and so forth that are helping everybody out there as well. And everybody helping get these people clothes and giving them food. So as far as that's concerned, I'm for socialism all the way when it comes to these programs, because otherwise capitalists certainly weren't going to pay for it. So,
Yeah.
you know, so much for that. And I could tell you something else too, and this makes my heart feel really good in a positive way, but it didn't start off that way. I took a drive down through Uniontown yesterday, and there was a church on Connellsville Street that was giving out
Food.
boxes of food for
yep.
people.
Yeah, they do that every
And
week.
let me tell you
Where the
something.
traffic
Well,
was.
let me tell you, George, I didn't even start counting until I was like, what are all these cars doing in this line? I didn't even start counting, and I still counted over 102 when I started counting.
Yeah.
So I know there was even way more than that. And that tells you the trouble that people are having paying their bills and in this ridiculous Republican-controlled economy going on right now. And they are completely to blame for it, 100% to blame for it.
Yep.
And we don't need another stupid repair to a wading pool. We don't need gold-plated statues. We don't need any of this other nonsense. That this
Take care of the people.
moron that's yes.
Take care of the people.
So
Money for war,
you
but
know, I
not
just wanted
for
to
the
get on
needy. Well, we appreciate it, Sean.
absolutely. So I just had to kind of get on my pedestal about that, and I had to really applaud that church on Connellsville Street for what they were doing, because that was a tremendous thing. I mean, to see all those cars lined up waiting for boxes of food.
Yep.
It was amazing. It was amazing to see.
Sean,
that.
like,
So you know,
I
it
did-
warms the heart that the communities have, but the community shouldn't have to. You know, when these major things, these horrible things are happening, like in Confluence, where you know we're having a natural disaster. That's one thing to get the community to pull together. But for people to just to have the basic necessities that they need, we have to go to all this trouble, it's insane.
Yeah,
it's
it
insane.
is. We agree with you.
So I mean, and
110%.
like I said, if you're waiting on a capitalist to hand it out to you, you can forget it. You know, it's going to be the social programs that help us. It's going to be the Social Security. It's going to be the Medicare, the Medicaid. You don't want your Social Security check because you don't believe in socialism? Fine.
Don't
Somebody
take
will
a
take
check.
it. Somebody else will accept it. You know, you sent your kids to public school. Well, you know, you should have been paying tuition then if you didn't want to deal with that socialist program. So you know, it just irks me to hear it. And so you guys got me fired up today. So I
I'm glad we got
apologize,
somebody
but I had
fired
to
up.
get on it. Got me on my soapbox.
Well, good. I'm
because
glad you're
I'm
on your
handing out-
soapbox. Handing out
handing out
food,
money.
right? Yep.
I'm handing out money to my friends in Confluence that are struggling so bad right now because they're getting flooded out and they need to stay in a hotel. I'm not going to make it to my next paycheck. I'm telling you, I'm eating out of a cracker box here. I got no money left till my next paycheck. But you know, doggone it, I'm going to help them if I can. And
Yeah.
and so I want to thank everybody who's listening that did help us so far. They've been tremendous. So I
Well,
just
Sean, we
wanted to make sure
appreciate all
everybody
the
heard that.
comments.
All righty, guys.
All right,
Thank you
thanks,
so much.
Sean.
Bye-bye.
Now, it's Sean from the mountains.
Okay, another call. Good afternoon. You're on the air. Who are we speaking to?
Good afternoon. This is Jay.
Hey, Jay, how are you, sir?
I'm good. I called a show this week. I get tired of hearing about the big paintbrush of the Democratic Party being socialism, and I brought up the same thing Rich brought up about the $27 billion of taxpayer money that this administration uses for partial ownership of private companies. Now, I learned a term for that when the government starts buying private companies. It's not socialism, but in this case, it is kind of corporate socialism. And this policy distorts the capital markets by incentivizing investors to support these companies because the investors, what they believe in is that the government's ownership creates a de facto government guarantee of a stock's value. And like you said, Rich, I said the same thing on a show, I think it was Monday this week, could have been last week, that our government owns 10% ownership of Intel.
Yes.
Yes.
And so what did the stock do? The stock went up.
Went
and
up,
You can say, well, that didn't hurt anything. Well, what if you're invested in an opposing stock? That's not capitalism. If you're having an opposing company, this is government buying. It incentivizes other businesses instead of doing better, creating a better product. They seek government investment under this administration instead of finding ways to have a better way to serve consumers.
Well, in a way, the government is picking, say, who's the winner and who's the loser.
Absolutely, and okay, and listen, I'm pro-military as anybody.
Well, I am too.
And listen, I can say a lot of good things done for me, but I'm telling you right now, we have some shady business going on with this National Defense Authorization Act. And what that has done, it has set up a defense investment equity account, and it's $500 million a year is our government can use to buy ownership in private companies. Well, what is happening is it's not our troops who are benefiting from war. They're actually the ones suffering, just like under George W. Bush. The same thing's happening now. It is constantly these defense contractors are raking in booty big time. And not only that are they raking in money that's our money, they're also then getting a massive tax cut like Northrop Grumman and some of these big defense contractors. I'm not against them, but when some of this is really shady that's going on, and I'm glad Rich brought it up. I brought it up the other day on Rush's show. You know, I said, yeah, he just kept going on, and it's almost like a one-trick pony. Ma'am Dondi.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
I get it, but at the same time, what is this administration? What's this administration doing for the middle class?
El Zippo.
Yeah, and I mean, prices go up. We print off this money, and what ends up happening is the U.S. Treasury Board ends up being a de facto, almost like a board of stock traders. I mean, and that's not the way our government's supposed to be. So these people that call up, oh, socialism this, socialism that. I mean, what are we doing with this government? $27 billion in this administration right now alone. I'm sorry, I don't buy these people that I call them one-trick ponies. They
I
just
agree.
bring up the socialism, and you know what? Then don't take Medicare. Medicare is a single-payer system. You know.
Jay, we're going to cut you short. We got
Thank
one
you.
more caller, and thank you. We
you.
appreciate your comments.
Mhm.
Last call, probably. Good afternoon. You're on the air. Who are we speaking to?
Good afternoon. I'm batting cleanup
Well,
today.
you're clean
Okay.
up. We need a home run now. You got about
All right.
2
All right.
minutes.
I got it.
Run the
First of all, okay. You're looking at J.D. Vance. You know what he said today? J.D. Vance says that we're over where we're at dealing with Iran because of gas prices. Wow, I thought we were there for ballistic missiles, nuclear weapons.
Nuclear weapons, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he said that's the second reason we're there. So he says the first reason we're there is to keep gas prices down. So
Right.
it's a war for oil, JD. Thank you for being honest and telling us that. Second thing is, did you guys hear Todd Blanche gets elected in? Do you know what he did his first day? Not even his first day, first couple hours.
Yeah, what he did with the conversations with Trump's aides. Anybody who has a conversation with the president, you know,
Is protected. Any charges or anything brought against his family or friends or anybody that he's consulting with that doesn't hold a government position.
Right.
Could that be Jared Kushner and Witkoff? Absolutely, because they are over there. Countries are looking to bring charges against them already and into some fishy deals. And here we are, people. The first day there are protections for Trump's family and those people around him. That should set the tone. Jay was right before me. What's happening is the middle class, if you look at small businesses in America, have declined. Small businesses in Western PA have declined. The middle class is having to work 2-3 jobs in a single household. And what's happening is these people are making more and more and more money. The profit, the margin between the poverty line, people just keeping their head above water, and these people making millions and billions is growing and growing and growing. Socialism was always talked about in a back room, but now it's talked about in the forefront because they see a president that says, I don't care what our people are going through. That does not affect my decisions in Iran. And when the household bill, the mortgage bill to help them was put on his desk, he said, I don't care about it. People pay attention to this.
Well, James,
and what he's saying is this isn't working. So that's why socialism was brought up. I don't believe in it or agree with it either. But people are having a hard time.
James, you're rounded third. You're going to hit that grand slam. We got to end the show. James, we appreciate it.
brother.
Call us earlier. And T, thank you for keeping the show going.
You're welcome.
Next week, I may not be here.
Oh, I got a big event next week. We'll talk about it then. That's all I can say.
Jesus, should be interesting.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Don't forget, Fayette County Democratic Women will be downtown, 5 Corners from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., and then we're going to be opening our headquarters on the 12th. And again, it was Democratic Hour. Rich, thanks for coming on. Thanks for all the callers. And TJ, thanks for keeping it going.
You're welcome. We'll see you next week. And this is WMBS Uniontown at 4 o'clock.
Confession in court. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. As the man charged with gunning down a healthcare executive changes his plea to guilty in a federal stalking case.
Luigi Mangione admitted in court to using a ruse